This is it. The ultimate, or should I rather say ultra, speed test between Xiaomi's Ultra smartphone, the Mi 11 Ultra, and Samsung's Ultra flagship smartphone, the S21 Ultra. They both have very similar specifications on paper. They both are paired with Qualcomm's latest Snapdragon 888 processing chip, UFS 3.1 storage, and 12 gigs of LPDDR5 RAM. I have updated both devices to their latest available software update, that being Android 11 on both phones. We also have QHD Plus panels on both devices, as well as 120Hz refresh rates on both devices. To keep things even, I'm going to make sure that none of the apps that we'll be running through today are affected by battery optimization, and I'll be leaving all animation scales enabled underneath the developer options. Round 1 will be all about boot, fingerprint, and face unlock. Round 2 will be about initial opening app speed, and round 3 will be all about RAM management. We're using my fingers over here, so to keep things accurate, we're going to be popping GoPro footage at the bottom left hand corner. This is TechNick, and without further ado, let's go. We're going to kickstart things off here in round 1 with a simple boot to see which one can power on quicker. It is indeed the Mi 11 Ultra with 20.5 seconds as opposed to the 44 seconds on the S21 Ultra. I've never seen that before, even from the S21 Ultra in previous speed tests. Nevertheless, second point goes toward the Mi 11 Ultra when refreshing app icons quicker, going into the home screen quicker over there after booting up the device. And talking about the fingerprint unlock, we have an ultrasonic one, the Gen 2 sensor underneath the S21 Ultra, and we have an optical one under the Mi 11 Ultra's display. But the Mi 11 Ultra was quicker, best 2 out of 3 there, so it picked up its third point. And now testing out the facial recognition, both 2D facial recognition of both devices. And just to let you guys know, I do focus on when the wallpaper shows, not really the animations of when the icons pop up. So we're looking at the wallpaper over here, and that is why the Mi 11 Ultra won both of those in terms of fingerprints and facial recognition. Moving on to round 2, making sure we're hooked to the same Wi-Fi network and the brightness is maxed out on both devices, and all the apps of course cleared in the background. It was too close to call when going into the settings app, and once again too close to call when going into the calculator app. When it comes to system apps, most phones can pretty much open them up quickly since they've been so heavily optimized for these devices. Where it really gets tricky is later on when we run into some third-party apps. Going into the camera app, it was too close to call. They both did different things at different times but ended off with the same time results. Flipping to the selfie cam, however, the Mi 11 Ultra picks up its first point, and the Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra picks up its first point when taking the snap slightly quicker than the Xiaomi. Going into our photos, our respective gallery apps, it was too close to call, and the S21 Ultra opened up that picture that we just took a little bit quicker than that of the Xiaomi Mi 11 Ultra. And going into Adobe Photoshop Express over here, it was way too close to call, so no point allocated over there. And going into the actual photo, the S21 Ultra was quicker that time around, so now 3 points for the Samsung as opposed to 1 point for the Xiaomi. Saving it to our gallery over here, the Samsung picks up its fourth point, just a smidge quicker than that of the Mi 11 Ultra. And going into Adobe Rush, a video editing app where we can render and export videos. Jumping into that one, the S21 Ultra was quicker in opening it up and quicker in going to the project as well. Now we're going to export this a 4K 25 frames per second clip. We are going to compress it down to 1080p but match the frame rates of 25 frames per second. I'm going to leave it at real time. I'm not going to speed it up like I have done in the past because they are just so darn quick with wonderful UFS 3.1 storage, of course. Which one is going to take the cake? It looks like it's going to be the Xiaomi, and it is indeed 7 seconds. That's the quickest I've ever seen on an Android phone before UFS 3.1 storage, as opposed to the 9 seconds on the Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra using the same UFS 3.1 storage. The next app that we'll be jumping into here is Spotify, which the Xiaomi opened up a tad quicker than the Samsung. Still 6 points for the Samsung as opposed to 3 on the Xiaomi, so double the points toward the Samsung side. Opening up Astral VPN, since we need a VPN here in China, the Xiaomi was definitely quicker over there, and it was quicker in turning it on as well. Now just 1 point trailing the S21 Ultra. Going into our first app that actually requires a VPN here in China is Google Chrome, which the Xiaomi opens up noticeably quicker compared to the Samsung, now 6 points apiece. And going into Facebook, our first social media app, yes, they loaded at different times, but the Samsung did open it up quicker, and it loaded the whole page slightly quicker than that of the Xiaomi as well, picking up its 7th point, but now once again with a 1 point advantage over the Xiaomi Mi 11 Ultra. Going into Instagram, very similar story over here. Jumping into that one, the Samsung was the clear winner when opening it up, though it took a little while to load some stuff up. It was definitely a hell of a lot quicker when opening up the app. And going into Twitter, the same thing can be said. Once again, quicker on the Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra. So far, 9 points for the Samsung as opposed to 6 points on Xiaomi's Ultra device. Going into our next app, which is YouTube, of course, the app that you're using right now to watch this video. The Samsung was quicker in going into YouTube, which one can get to my profile quicker over here, and it is indeed the Xiaomi Mi 11 Ultra, now with 7 points on the Xiaomi, trailing the Samsung by 3 points. Going into one of my videos, once again the Samsung was quick over here, 11 points as opposed to the 7 on the Xiaomi. The next video streaming app that we'll be jumping into is of course Netflix. All of you are pretty much binging right now, I'm assuming. thanks to the wonderful COVID going around. 8 points for the Xiaomi after opening it up slightly quicker. 12 points for the Samsung after going into my profile quicker that time around. And the first benchmark app of 2 is Geekbench 5. Which one can open up the actual app quicker? It is indeed the Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra, now picking up its 13th point. 5 points ahead of the Xiaomi Mi 11 Ultra. I've sped it up, bottom right hand corner. I'm going to drop it back down to let the Samsung trickle off. The Xiaomi gets its 9th point, doing it in 2 minutes and 34 seconds as opposed to 2 minutes and 43.5 seconds on the Samsung, and it did have a higher single and multi-core score that is toward the Xiaomi. Opening up 3D Mark Wildlife, once again the Samsung was quicker in opening the actual benchmark up. Sped it up, bottom right hand corner once again, slowed it back down. The Xiaomi picks up its 10th point, its first double digit point of this test. 1 minute and 12 seconds as opposed to 1 minute 14 seconds on the S21 Ultra, and it had a frames per second of 33.8 as opposed to 31.1 on the S21 Ultra. Going into our first game of 4 over here, which is indeed Subway Surfers. Which one is going to open up the first game quicker? It looks pretty neck and neck, but it is indeed the S21 Ultra picking up its 15th point. Once again, a 5-point lead over the Xiaomi Mi 11 Ultra. And these phones are very similarly priced. Going into our second game over here, sped it up, slowed it back down, tempo run 2. The S21 Ultra snags this point. 16 points, biggest lead of the test. 6 points lead over the Mi 11 Ultra in round 2, which is all about speed. Going into Among Us though, the Xiaomi quickly strikes back, picking up its 11th point here as opposed to the 16 points on the S21 Ultra. I guess it's kind of been neck and neck, but there's no way for Xiaomi to turn this around since we only have 2 apps left. That is in terms of round 2, not exactly the overall test. We'll have to wait and see what happens with round 3. When it comes to RAM management, our last game over here is PUBG Mobile. Longest opening time of all the games that we've tested here, 14.5 seconds on the Mi 11 Ultra, picking up its 12th points, 2 seconds slower on the S21 Ultra, 16 points on the S21 Ultra, 12 points on the Xiaomi Mi 11 Ultra, closing off round 2 over there where they went toward the S21 Ultra. Round 1 was of course the Xiaomi. Can Xiaomi do it again in round 3? If not, and the Samsung stacks up here, the Samsung could win the test. Wow, I'm not really quite sure what's happening here. Have Xiaomi finally fixed their devices with RAM management? Xiaomi has kept 2 apps open that the S21 Ultra has killed. Now 3 apps open. It is keeping all of these apps open in the background. I've never seen this on a Xiaomi device. Have they finally fixed their RAM management issues? 4 points now on the Mi 11 Ultra, where the Samsung has killed those 4 apps. Going into YouTube, they both kept them open. Going into Netflix, they both kept them open. Going into Geekbench, the Samsung killed it. The Xiaomi picks up its 5th point in round 3 and has still not killed 1 app, where Samsung has killed 5 apps. Of the 20 over here, can Xiaomi snag another point here? No, unfortunately it cannot. The Samsung still keeps all the games open as well as 3D Mark Wildlife, giving Xiaomi the edge in round 3 with 5 points as opposed to 0 on the S21 Ultra, something I never thought I'd ever say. Total score here, 21 points for the Mi 11 Ultra as opposed to 16 on the S21 Ultra, though I must say the Samsung did put up quite a fight in round 2, which is what most people think matters most. That is raw speed, 16 points for the Samsung as opposed to 12 points for the Xiaomi. They are both Ultra devices, they are both incredible devices, so take your pick and you'll be happy without a doubt. This is TechNick and I'll catch you in the next one.